Hello, I'm taking on a challenge to beat every playable Nintendo published game. Welcome to the next episode. The next game is Space Launcher. 1979 was a big year for Nintendo in the arcade world. While they had released a few games in the years prior, they released far more games this year than before, showing their commitment to the electronic video game market. The last of these games released in 1979 was Space Launcher. Hearing the title, you might worry that this is another Space Invaders clone. However, similar to Sheriff, Nintendo was finally starting to experiment and create original games instead of copying from others. That being said, Nintendo is clearly still trying to cash in on the space craze of the late 1970s, and the artwork for this game looks suspiciously familiar. Some people have likened the gameplay to Frogger, but this game was actually released 2 years prior. The flyer describes this game as the most thrilling space game. Are these words actually true? Let's find out. In this game, you play as a spaceship launching from Earth into space. Your objective is to dock into a space station, then make the return trip back home. The controls are relatively simple. You can move left and right, and change between moving fast or slow. There are two types of obstacles along the way, meteorites and UFOs. The meteorites move from side to side, and they cause the ship to crash if it runs into them. The UFOs fire lasers at the ship, and these lasers will also cause the player to explode if the lasers hit them. Once the ship reaches the UFOs, some sort of shield appears in front of the ship, and running into the UFOs will cause them to explode, and the player will gain points. Each dock on the space station is worth a specific amount of points, and after the points are gained, the ship turns around for the return trip home. The return trip isn't all that different. You just go through the obstacles in the opposite direction. Once you reach the bottom, more points are earned, and everything resets for the next run. As far as I can tell, that's all there really is to this game. On my first run, after getting to the space station, I moved too quickly to the sides while leaving the port and had my first accident. I wasn't really expecting it, and it gave me a startle. When you die, you are sent back to the start. I was pretty confused during my first run and didn't even complete a round trip. I ended with a measly 200 points. The next run went a lot better, and I finished 8 total round trips and ended with 13,300 points. At this point, I'd completed at least one full trip and already had seen everything the game had to offer. I could have ended it here, but this was going by so fast that I decided to try one more run and see if I could find anything else. However, I ended this run pretty early at 1,550 points. With that, the game was complete already. This game was really short, and I was done with it in under 7 minutes. Granted, you are intended to replay the game more and try and beat your high scores. On to the review. Alrighty. While there was nothing all that bad about this one, there wasn't a whole lot good either. The core gameplay loop works well enough, it just gets old incredibly fast. I appreciate that Nintendo was experimenting more with making their own unique games, but this one lacked the substance of some of their other entries in the arcade market. I gave the game a 5 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to see more of these in the future, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss out on the next one. Also leave a like if you enjoyed it, since it'll help the channel grow and motivate me to continue this series. I hope I'll see you in the next step of my quest to beat every Nintendo game.